We had the idea for Edgelands before we had the word. We were talking about these places around where we grew up that aren't quite urban and aren't quite rural, that seemed like the most interesting place to be when we were growing up in our teens in the northwest. And then we discovered an article in a landscape journal by the writer Marion Short, and she gave us the word Edgelands. And she said, where are the writers and artists who are going to do for the English Edgelands what the Romantic poets did for mountains? So with a bit of hubris, we thought, well, we'll have a crack at that.
I like to think of it as the blank spaces on the A to Z. They're places that we're used to passing through but not used to looking at or looking into. The Premier Inn near the NEC is suitably large and rather attractively landscaped, with trees and grass banks and picnic tables set out in front of the hotel. When there's a big name gig at the NEC or a major show of clothes or cars, this place is buzzing. But go there in late summer before the autumn calendar kicks off, and the Premier Inn is an oasis in a desert.
Outside, above, around are miles of nothingness. If you were staying in a hotel in the Highlands, you might step out into silence with the mountains bearing down on you. But this is a different wilderness, Midlands Edgelands wilderness. It has the echoing silence of miles of empty car parks, pockets of woodland and strips of standing water. We found in the writing of the book, we weren't just writing a book about particular places, we were writing a book about a particular time as well. Because if we came back to these Edgelands in 2, 3, 5 years' time, some of the buildings would be gone. Some of the smaller business park developments would have packed up and gone home because the economic tide turned. So every piece of writing about Edgelands is a snapshot.
People mustn't think of them as some kind of very definite belt around every single large urban area, because that's not quite what Edgelands are. They can form little ribbons around the edge of cities, and they can crop up almost anywhere in pockets.
The National Exhibition Centre, which is where we are in Birmingham, is like an Edgelands paradise in itself. It is its own defining kind of Edgelands. It's got its own hotels, it's got vast car parks and huge warehouses, empty warehouses where a band might play or an antiques exhibition might be staged.
We're also standing right in the middle of Shakespeare's Forest of Arden. They've paved it over. This is it. This is what's left of it. It's these badly stitched together spaces that are almost invisible, I think for several reasons. One is they're not meant to be seen. They're built for the car, for the motor car, and for ease of access. And also they don't have a name. And if something hasn't got a name, it's more difficult for it to have an imaginative life, or for us to imagine it.
Wainwright, the great walker who wrote about the lakes, talks about wanting his ashes to be scattered at Innominate Tarn, this beautiful romantic place that's famously named for not having a name. There are Innominate Tarns all around the outskirts of Birmingham and Manchester and Liverpool. No one knows how the fish got there, no one knows how the water got there, no one's given them names, and that's how much of a wilderness these places are.